book called Cotton Fields, and it is a part of the book where one of the main characters, Sterling, is having a little bit of a psychotic episode. Sterling is one of the inmates in a residential facility, a facility like you've probably never encountered before. But at any rate, he's at home now with his wife, whose name is Annie. Sterling knows that there is somebody after him, but he doesn't know who. He knows a lot of people who it could be, including Annie, who might even be first on the list, but the list is so long and so changeable, so elusive that he can't be sure. In the basement, in a small design anomaly behind the furnace, which neither the architect who drew the house nor the contractor who built it saw fit to correct, he is so hidden, so cut off from anyone's view, and conversely so cut off from viewing anyone, that he must assume that anyone at all who approaches must be after him. This extrapolates reasonably enough into the feeling that they are all after him, and makes his hackles raise, and his eyes glisten. Sterling doesn't remember how long they've been after him, or why they are. He doesn't remember any more past than a vague notion about something called meds, which he probably didn't take. He also remembers a little about motorcycles and feels somehow relieved that he doesn't remember much about them. Crouched behind the furnace, he isn't very interested in remembering, only in listening, and trying to figure a way out of wherever he is, because he doesn't remember where he is either. Sterling is fairly sure he knows who he is, at least that he is someone of vital importance, because they all seem to be after him. And if he weren't of vital importance, they wouldn't be. In all the history of mankind, he knows, they have never gone after someone of no importance. He also knows his name, which is Sterling. His name is Sterling because his mother was taken with a movie star named Sterling Hayden, and not so much with his father, an accountant whose name was Benson. What he doesn't know is that he is the result of alcohol intoxication, although not in the normal, accepted manner, but the intoxication of a workman in one of the mixing rooms where the rubber-like material from Trojan living color prophylactics is made. Neither Benson nor Sterling's mother, Katie, was happy with the unplanned insemination, but neither was either one inclined to press for the abortion of the result, a fact that Katie, in the throes of the depressive part of her bipolar disorder, was always eager to tell him. Sterling tries hard to think, but finds it difficult back there, hot and cramped. He feels that it's important to think past the panic that nearly consumes him, to think himself into the sense of calm and proportion that he feels, although he does not know for certain, exists somewhere in the reachable present. This is faith for him, the thin thread that holds him back from chaos and terror. There is somewhere where they are all not after him. There is somewhere that is safe, where fear is gone. His hands don't shake. He is not consumed by sweat and darting eyes that see what other senses tell him is not there. Sterling wipes his forehead with his hand, cranes his neck ineffectually, and then relaxes backwards against the basement wall. He puts his hand restlessly against his belly, feels the pistol there, and suddenly upon rediscovering it smiles. In a universe beyond his understanding, which exists without love or succor or ease from pain, he is at least not alone. It is then that the evil chemistry in a world plumbed by polyvinyl chloride begins to dominate, and the first of the sewerage pipes slowly detaches itself from the wall and reaches outward, snakes coldly and slowly toward his throat. Like a weaving cobra, the pipe advances, first white, then glaring orange in the light, hints of blues as it arches, hesitates about 5 feet from him, rearing up an engine of silent destruction brought into his home by whom? Sterling blinks. The snout inches closer, waving from side to side, sniffing like a bloodhound on a scent. Sterling can't take his eyes from it now. Knows he must, for he sees other movement from the direction of the first pipe, a vent pipe from the upstairs bathroom, breathing the mixed smells of old bubble bath and flatulence, and knows that it will strike if his attention strays, if it sees him begin to ignore it. He has fought these pipes before and knows their ways, their aims and goals. He smiles grimly, feels his members stiffen in his pants, wonders for a moment if, like a virus, the hard polymer of the pipes could have infected him, localizing in that precious organ. Thinks finally, that cannot be, remembering himself in the mirror this morning, flaccid and pale as ever, more safely fungus-like than pipe-like. He tightened his finger on the trigger of the pistol as both pipes now advance, and laughs aloud as he turns with the speed of sound and pops off a quick shot over his shoulder at a third pipe, which has attempted to flank his concentration. Turns again for 2 more shots, one in each of the pipes in front. Then it is quiet except for the hollow echoes, and his ears ring. The pipes, smashed, lie still and bleeding, one gushing arterial blood, the other leaking a greenish venous ichor. Sterling exults, his chest swells, tears come to his eyes. He hears voices in the distance. From far away it seems, cheers maybe troops come to help. Sterling, he hears, what the fuck are you doing? It's Annie. Don't come down here, Annie, Sterling cries. Don't come down here, it's the pipes. The pipes? Sterling hears the basement door open and close, the voice clearer, sees a shadow against the wall descending. Annie, he says. Sterling, what in the world are you doing? She reaches the bottom of the stairs cautiously, looks around, sees nothing but the basement. Where are you? Over here, Annie, Sterling says, his voice furtive and guarded. Be careful, there might be more of them. More of what? Annie says. Pipes, Sterling hisses. Sewerage pipes. Pipes, God damn it, Sterling, do you freaking take your pills? It's the pipes, Annie, Sterling says. Really? He sees her shadow begin to move, advance slowly. Don't come any closer, he says. Go back upstairs and call the police. Sterling, Annie starts, but stops abruptly as she hears at first faintly, and then louder, sirens coming toward them from all sides, it seems, and screeching tires, shouts, slamming doors. Annie, Sterling whispers. He sees movement, another shadow reaching out toward Annie's shadow. Annie, he screams, get back! And in terror for the safety of his mate, overcomes his own terrible fear and bursts out from behind the furnace, pistol blazing at the shattering plastic used against code regulations to plumb the upstairs toilets. Water sprays and splashes soaking Annie and Sterling, racing across the basement to save the love of his life. Hears his pistol click empty, slips and slides across the wet floor like a crazed skateboarder into Annie to fall, raise up once heroically, and hurl the empty gun at the movement he sees at the top of the stairs. I'll save you, Annie, he screams, as the first canister of gas pops open right in front of him, and he hears Annie, coughing, say, oh shit.